Back then, in a small village nestled at the foot of rolling green hills, there lived an old woman who spent her quiet days by a window overlooking the river. Her hair had long turned silver, but in her eyes still burned an indescribable yearning, a dream that had never faded through 70 years of life, to see the vast world beyond with her own eyes and steps. Each morning, her little wooden house would be filled with the sounds of birdsong and sunlight as soft as silk. She would sit there, knitting slowly with her hands, while her mind wove journeys that had never begun, distant seaports, ancient cities, sun-drenched golden beaches. In her youth, for family and the weight of countless responsibilities, she had folded her dreams away, tucking them into the deepest corners of her heart. Her husband, a kind-hearted farmer, had passed away early. Her children had grown up and moved to the city to chase lives of their own. One gentle afternoon, as the sunlight painted the porch in gold, she asked herself, if not now, then when? And so, with the savings she had carefully put away all her life, she quietly bought herself a ticket for a cruise around the world, a journey even the young often hesitated to take. Friends and neighbors, upon hearing the news, were astonished. At 70, she still plans to set sail? But she simply smiled, a soft, ripe autumn smile, and packed her suitcase with all the excitement of a girl leaving home for the very first time. On the day she left the village, the sky was a crystal clear blue. She wore a cloak the color of ash, holding a small suitcase. Inside were a few changes of clothes, an old leather journal, and a pocket camera. That was all she needed to begin her journey. No one came to see her off, save for a few curious village children who chased after her, waving their tiny hands. Her steps were slow but steady, each step like the turning of a new page in her life. There was nothing left to fear. There was nothing left to wait for. World, here I come, a tiny old woman with a heart larger than the ocean. Lands of dreams. The cruise ship glided across the vast oceans, carrying with it the old woman and her quiet dreams. On the first night out on the open deck, she stood still, gazing up at the star-studded sky. Somehow the stars over the ocean seemed brighter, nearer, and whispered secrets, like old friends reunited after many years. Day by day, the ship docked at new ports, from moss-covered European villages to Caribbean beaches green as jade, from bustling, colorful markets of Asia to snow-capped mountain ranges of South America. In Venice, she stepped onto St. Mark's Square. Flocks of white pigeons swirled around her like the embracing arms of this ancient city. Beneath the cathedral's domes, the bells tolled, their echoes weaving through centuries, as if guiding her soul through time. In Morocco, she wandered through narrow, vibrant alleys with the music of the oud floating on the warm breeze. The locals invited her to share a glass of sweet mint tea, and though she could not fully understand their language, she still felt a strange and beautiful thread connecting one heart to another. In Japan, on a crisp spring morning, she donned a simple paper hat and strolled slowly beneath the blossoming cherry trees. Petals drifted down, settling gently on her silver hair, and for a fleeting moment she felt 30 years younger. At every place she visited, she wrote carefully in her little leather-bound journal, not just of the breathtaking landscapes, but of the glances she exchanged, the scents she inhaled, and the fleeting emotions that soaked into her soul. Her pocket camera grew full of clumsy but sincere photographs. Most of all, she cherished sitting quietly by the harbors, listening to the waves lap against the ship's hull, letting her heart rise and fall with the rhythm of the vast, living world. Gradually, the people on board began to know her, the wonderful, traveling grandmother, the one who always smiled warmly at everyone, and who carried tiny fairy tales with every step she took. Returning in the golden light of evening. After nearly a year of wandering, when the ship finally returned to its starting point, the old woman, too, returned to her old village. The day she stepped off the train was an autumn afternoon, with a light breeze and the earthy scent of damp soil in the air. The village remained the same, the red-tiled roofs, the trees bowing gently toward the river. But she was different. Not in her hair, it was still silver. Not in her gait, it was still slow and deliberate. The change was in her eyes, eyes that now held an entire world within them, vast, wondrous, and infinite. She brought back small gifts, A pouch of lavender from France, a hand-embroidered handkerchief from Peru, a tiny paper lantern from Japan. But the most precious thing she brought home was a heart full of stories. In the evenings, the village children would gather around her under the porch roof, listening wide-eyed as she spoke of faraway voyages, of fiery red sunsets over distant lands, of friends she might never meet again. The children's eyes would light up, their imaginations soaring with every word, as if they, too, stood beside her in some far-off square. And she knew then, the journey had not only changed her life, it had also planted a quiet dream in the hearts of those who stayed behind. A dream that the world is vast, magical, and that it is never too late to step out, to see, and to truly live. On late autumn afternoons, as she sat by her window overlooking the river, her gaze would drift into the distance, peaceful and full of wonder. Life, after all, had always been a long voyage, and any heart that still dares to dream would never truly grow old.